What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy D-Chance, and last week I released a video titled The Ultimate DMZ Weapon Guide 2025 Edition. And after posting that video, I thought it would be a good idea to show you guys how I build guns, why I build guns the way I build guns, and how those guns determine my playstyle. So without further ado, let's hop into the loadouts and I'll show you what guns I'm using on a daily basis in DMZ. Now, as you can see, I'm here on the multiplayer loadout menu, but that's fine because these guns are the same guns that I'm using in DMZ, okay? The first thing I want to mention is that I love the PvP aspect of DMZ. When I load in, I'm going to spawn push. I'm going to pick up hunt contracts and I'm going to go look and see where the fights are. If I see a mortar strike, if I see an airstrike, if I see a UAV, I'm going to push those areas. And so knowing that that's how my playstyle is, I use guns that help me play that way. So you'll never see my snipers with a raptor scope. You'll never see my ARs with a suppressor, and you'll never see my SMGs built for long range. So the first loadout that I have here is the Tempus Razorback and the ISO 9mm. Now the way I play DMZ is two ways. Either I'm going to hard push or I'm going to scope it out a little bit first. And if I'm going to hard push, I'm going to bring in an AR for that long to mid range. And then I'm also going to bring in a SMG for close quarter combats. You'll never see me bring in two ARs. You'll never see me bring in two SMGs. You'll never see me bring in an AR and a sniper together at the same time, because those are two mid to long range weapons, and I don't like playing that way. I want to get in somebody's face. I want to get in a room. I want to get in a building, and I want to get nasty. And those long range sniper fights, the people that have the raptor scopes on their guns, the people that have their ARs built for super long range, slow ADS, those are not the way I build my guns. All right. So we have the Tempus Razorback, the ISO 9mm, for mid-range and for close quarters, because that's how I play. All right, so, and I'll go into the tunings here in a little bit, but I don't really want to focus on tunings because it's really not that serious. All right, guys, so let's go to the gunsmith. I'll show you how I build it. I got the 16-inch Tanker V barrel on here. Let me click on the tuning. It's tuned for recoil steadiness and aim down sight speed. I have the X10 ported 290 muzzle. All right, that's tuned for recoil stabilization and recoil control. I have the DM Proto Grip. This is for aim down sight speed, and it's centered here. It's really not that serious. 60 round magazine on the Tempus Razorback, and the ERG X1 rear grip. That's tuned for ADS and slightly towards sprint to fire speed. I don't have an optic on this gun because I personally like the iron sights on the Tempus Razorback. All right, so that's the build for my Tempus Razorback. Again, it's in multiplayer, but it's the same gun that I use in DMZ. All right, and then for the ISO 9mm, you'll see this across all my SMG builds. If there's a VLK laser, I'm gonna put it on there, and that's tuned for. That's not tuned at all, actually. And if I were gonna tune it, it's gonna be for ADS and about right here for sprint to fire speed. And I'll save that here in just a minute. The AVR T90 comp. All right. I don't have this one tuned either. This is going to be tuned for recoil control. And the way I do it is, like, you'll see this recoil and accuracy moving a little bit. And right when it stops, like it's there, and then it's not moving anymore, I'm going to leave it right there. And then I'm going to tune it for ADS. All right. 50 round drum, because you need more than 33 rounds with this gun. The fire rate is really fast, so 50 round drum on this gun. The EXP shear grip, this is going to be tuned for sprint to fire speed and aim down sight speed. All right, and then I have the Torrent Span 9 stock on it. Let me go ahead and tune that to what I got you guys here. So we'll do it right there, and aiming idle stability right there, and let me save it. All right, and that's how I would build my ISO 9mm. Again, a lot of my SMGs are going to be built this way for sprint to fire speed. Again, I'm going to be using this gun in close quarter combats. I don't put an optic on any of my SMGs. It just slows down my ADS, and I try to build it for mobility. That's the ISO 9mm build. All right, we'll go into the loadout 2. Here we have the M4 and the Lachman Sub. The Lachman Sub is one of the best SMGs that you can use in DMZ today. It's a 15-minute cooldown. And a lot of the weapons that you're going to see in this video are weapons that I'm using that have a 15-minute cooldown because it's just convenient. And I would imagine that a lot of the guns that you're going to see in DMZ today are guns that have a 15-minute cooldown, like the Lachman Sub, the Bas P, the ISO 45, the M4, the Bryson 800, the MCPR. I would imagine that if the Victus had a 15-minute cooldown, a lot of people would be using the Victus a lot more as well. But for this loadout, we have the M4 and the Lachman Sub. Again, this is a mid-range and close quarter combat gun combination here. For this gun, since the M4 does have a lot of bounce, we're going to put some recoil control on it. So I have the Tempus Trench Pro barrel, tuned for recoil steadiness and slightly towards ADS. All right. I have the X imported 290 muzzle on it for recoil stabilization and recoil control. And then we're going to balance that out. I like using the shark fin on this gun because it doesn't have any cons. It just helps with aiming idle stability. So we have it tuned there, and for recoil stabilization. All right, 60 round magazine on here, and then the optic is the SC Recharge DX. It's tuned for ADS. Now, I've recently grown to like this optic. Normally, I would put an AMOT V4 on here, but again, I just feel like the SC Recharge is a newer version of the AMOT, and I like it, and that's why it's on the M4. This gun is pretty good. Let me see if I can get it here and show you the firing range on the M4. All right, so not too bad. Just hold down on the right there, and it's a pretty good gun. All right, so let's leave the firing range, and then we will go to the Lachman Sub. All right, again, Lachman Sub, it's a VLK laser on it. A sprint to fire speed is here, and aim down sight speed. The L38 Falcon 226mm barrel on it that's tuned for recoil steadiness and damage range. This gun is a lot better at damage range than the ISO 9mm. The FT Mobile stock is on here, tuned for ADS and aim walking speed. All right. The Lachman TCG10 rear grip for recoil steadiness and sprint to fire speed, and I have a 40 round magazine on it. All right, and then let's go to the firing range and I'll show you the ADS. See, it's pretty snappy, right? So that is the MP5 build that I have for you guys. We'll go back to the let's go to loadout 3. This is an M13B and the Vel 46. I really like the Vel 46. I feel like it has really good range. When I get, it's my go-to gun. It's my go-to SMG. I mean, lately it's been an ISO 45, but before that it was a Vel 46, hands down, bar none. We'll go to the M13B though. I have the 14-inch Bruin Echelon barrel on it, tuned for recoil steadiness and ADS down here. I have the AMOT V4 scope on this one for aim down sight speed. I have the Bruin flash grip on it. This is going to give you ADS, all right, and sprint to fire speed. And then I have armor piercing rounds, the 5.56 armor piercing rounds on here. This tuned slightly towards recoil control and recoil steadiness. And I have a 60 round magazine on this gun. The fire rate, what helps this gun out, if you're going to put anti-armor rounds in this gun, it's a really good gun because the fire rate is so fast. We'll go into the firing range and I'll show you guys what this looks like. All right, this gun is pretty much a laser. All right, so that's the M13B. All right, guys, that's how I build it. Vel 46, again, VLK, laser, sprint to fire speed, aim down sight speed. Okay, the Bruin cubic comp on here, aim down sight speed, recoil control. We got frangible rounds on here for damage range and bullet velocity. This delays healing, and I just like them. 50 round magazine so that we can reload quicker. And the Slogger Soldier grip on here, tuned for ADS and sprint to fire speed. All right, and then we can run it here into the. This is how your SMGs need to feel. Whenever you're moving, whenever you're running or you're fighting, you need to be able to shoot fast, aim fast. All right. I really like the Vel 46, but that's how I have the Vel 46 built, guys. Let's go to the next loadout that I have. This is going to be the ISO 45, which is my new favorite SMG. Again, it has a 15-minute cooldown, and then we have that coupled with the MCPR 300. I'm going to use the MCPR, the sniper, to kind of pick some shots, and then if I get some downs or if I break some plates, I'm going to go push with my ISO 45, all right? So we'll look at my sniper build. It has the SPX 80, 6.5 scope on here, tuned for ADS. All right, the FSS Merc stock for ADS and aiming idle stability. The F-Tac Reaper muzzle for ADS and aiming idle stability. High velocity rounds on this for damage range and bullet velocity. And I use high velocity rounds on all of my snipers. All right, and then the Croonin small bolt. This is going to give you rechambering speed. All right. So that's my go-to sniper build, the MCPR 300. I'm going to use this one primarily like 99% of the time, unless I find a Victus and pick it up and take it back with me. But that's the sniper build that I'm going to use. All right. So we're not going to go into the firing range with that, but we will go into the firing range with the ISO 45, and I'll show you how I build this gun. You can see a common trend here. Again, the VLK laser. It's tuned for sprint to fire speed and aim down sight speed. The Lockshot KT85 muzzle. This is for recoil and recoil control. Okay, stabilization and control down here. I got hollow points on here. All right, damage range and bullet velocity tunings. 45 round drum, and then the A30 stout rear grip for ADS and sprint to fire speed. All right, let's check this gun out. That's 25 meters out over there. I'm not using this gun for 25 meter shots, right? I'm using this gun for 10 meter shots, but it does hit over there, okay? I don't put any optics on any of my SMGs. They just slow the gun down. I'm gonna put a laser on it, and I'm gonna use a scope. Why? I need to change my settings. I'm not supposed to have a weapon blur. Anyway, that is the ISO 45 build. All right, guys, let's go into the next build. It's going to be the MCPR and the Fennec. I'm not using the Fennec a lot, but if I find this gun and I pick it up, I do take it with me. Just because the fire rate is crazy. You put anti-armor rounds in this gun and it's gonna melt anybody. It's the same MCPR from the last loadout, but the only difference is I got an SMG here for a really close quarter fight. All right, so I'm gonna get into that fight. I'm not gonna stand back and try to fight this team or a squad from 25-30 meters out with this gun. So I'll show you how I built this gun. It has a spiral V3.5 flash hider, tuned for ADS and gun kick, because this gun doesn't have a lot. It does have a lot of gun kick recoil. Okay. Again, VLK 7 laser, sprint to fire speed and aim down sight speed. The Fennec rubber grip is on here for recoil and sprint to fire speed. I got a 45 round magazine on here, and then frangible rounds for recoil smoothness and recoil steadiness. All right. Again, this gun is meant for really close quarter fights. All right, guys. This is not a gun that I'm using all the time, but it's quick. All right. That's 25 meters out. This guy's in 10 meters. I'm really using this gun even less than 10 meters. I really want to be here. I really want to be, you know, fighting here with this gun. But again, you put anti-armor rounds in this gun, and whoever's on the opposing side is going to be toast. Where are we at now? That's the Fennec. Kastov 545 in the Bas P. I don't really use this gun, guys, but if you're interested in the build, I'll give it to you guys. 545, I do use this gun. You will see me with it. I have the IG K30 406mm barrel on here, tuned for recoil steadiness and damage range. All right, I have the second tread 40 muzzle for recoil stabilization and slightly towards recoil control. The AIMOT V4 scope, arguably my most favorite scope in the gun. ADS. All right. 60 round magazine on here, high velocity rounds. It's going to be tuned for recoil smoothness and recoil steadiness. We'll take this one into the gun range so you can see what it's about. All right. See, the ADS isn't quick, but it is a laser. All right. I really like the Kastov 445. I just don't use it a lot. I just feel like, yeah, I'm into other guns, into a few more other guns before that. The Bas P, VOK laser, 6.5-inch Bruin Drake barrel on here. This is for, we'll tune that for recoil and ADS. Let's do that. Lockshot KT85 muzzle on here for recoil stabilization and recoil control. 50 round drub, Ruin flash grip on here. This is for ADS and sprint to fire speed. And that's that gun. All right. I can get away with recoil on, ADS, losing ADS on these two attachments because I have the laser, the grip. All right. I don't use the gun a whole bunch. But if I do, this is the build for it. Again, no scope. Again, no scope on it. All right. I always do that with my SMGs too when I'm trying to shoot far range. I don't hold the trigger. I tap it like that. All right, so that's the Bas P build. And then we'll go into this last build. It's a TAC 56. You do see me using this gun a lot. This build specifically is for getting the rats out of those cringy buildings. All right, so we got the Tactic Brute stock on here. This is for ADS. All right. And then we have the 40 round magazine, armor piercing rounds, so I can wall bang. This is for recoil steadiness and recoil smoothness and recoil steadiness. All right, we got the 40mm drill charge attachment. That's for sprint to fire speed and sprint to fire speed. It doesn't really matter what this tuning is. I'm just gonna spam drill charges that somebody is hiding in one of those cringe buildings or one of the stairways of a 4-story. And then we have the FTAC Castle Comp. I really like this muzzle, but it's tuned for ADS and recoil control. I don't have a scope on this gun. I'm fine with iron sights on the TAC 56. It's probably my favorite iron sight in the game. They're not in the way. This gun is a laser. All right. I'm a big fan of the TAC 56. All right. So that's the build for the TAC 56. The only difference here, if I wasn't going to take this drill charge attachment, I would put a rear grip on here, and it would be the this one, the demo clean shot grip for ADS and sprint to fire speed. And then the PDSW, I tend to like this gun sometimes. All right. If I find it, I'll keep it. It's not a gun that I actively go into the game with. Okay, so we have the VOK laser on here. Again, sprint to fire speed and aim down sight speed. We have the FTAC Castle Comp. I really like this muzzle as well. This is tuned for ADS and recoil control. I have the QCB stock on here for aim down sight speed. All right. I have the TV Tacom comb on here for recoil stabilization and ADS. And then I have the Bruin Q900 grip. That's for aim down sight speed and sprint to fire speed. All right, so let's get into the firing range with the PDSW. All right, you're not shooting at anybody that far with this gun. All right, again, this SMG is built to be that range, maybe that range, but that's AR distance for me. All right, 25 meters. All right, guys, those are the loadouts. Those are the guns that I'm using in DMZ 2025 with emphasis on loadout 1, the Razorback and the ISO 9, the M4 and the Lachman Sub, the M13B and the Vel 46, ISO 45. Again, all of these SMGs and AARs are interchangeable. I don't specifically use these two guns together, these two guns together, and these two guns together. I'm going to pick one of these SMGs to go with one of these ARs, or one of these SMGs to go with my MCPR 300. All right. But all right, guys, if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button. If you want to see more content like this, sub to the channel. But that's going to be it for this one, and I'll check you guys out in the next one. Peace, y'all.